Washed-up stuntman Luo can barely make ends meet, let alone take care of his beloved stunt horse, Red Hare. Luo reluctantly seeks help from his estranged daughter and her lawyer boyfriend when notified that the horse may be auctioned off to cover his debts. Unexpectedly, Luo and Red Hare become an overnight media sensation when their real-life fight with debt collectors goes viral. And Luo gets a second chance to choose between his stunt career and his family. We witness a man named Luo dozing sufficiently toward the beginning of the story. In the interim, a pony comes to him and awakens him by holding his hair from its mouth. And afterwards takes his mouth out and suffocates him in the water. In reality, this pony used to awaken his lord similarly. They go to a spot. Luo ties his pony and starts resting at a spot. Welcome to the review recapped. Subscribe for a bit of good luck and enjoy. Luo's pony's name was Red. Later, two men are seen going on their ponies and conversing with one another while checking Luo out. They say he goes by Luo, who used to be a stand-in film. He had brought in a ton of cash by showing stunts. Yet, take a gander at how terrible his condition is today that he couldn't eat 2 feasts appropriately. Presently one night Luo was sitting in the lodging purging brew bottles. In reality, he was stressed over his destitution when a man comes to him named Demi. Luo had acquired some cash from him which he was unable to return till today. Demi says, if you can't return my cash then give me your pony, I will pardon every one of your obligations. In any case, Luo won't give his pony Red and says, you disappear from here. Hearing this, Demi becomes angered and shares with Luo, I will take your pony. This prompts a battle between the two. Luo first shows Demi and his men a thing or two and afterward he goes out and saves his pony. He sits on his pony, drives him away and arrives at a carnival where he plays out certain tricks. Also, conceals his pony from Demi and his men. He was likewise concealing a direct result of it. Demi and her men couldn't see him and go on from that point. The following morning, when Luo was on his structure with his pony Red, 2 men came there. Who let Luo know that he needed to return the pony he had because the pony proprietor was battling a case. However, he had won that case so he needed his pony back. He needs to give it in closeout. Then, at that point, a young lady and a man came there who were doing odd stunts. They used to do with Luo. The 2 men who had brought the notification got frightened seeing them and left. After their flight, Luo shows the notification to the young lady that the 2 men had given him. Anyway, he should return the pony. After knowing it all, the young lady focuses on the image of Luo's girl and says, we want a legal counselor for this case. Presently in the following scene, we see Luo's little girl who is lovely and guiltless. Luo comes to his little girl and requests help by telling her the entire issue. Yet, Luo's girl will not help her father and says, Father, I'm not a legal counselor yet, I'm concentrating on regulation. Saying this, she leaves. Luo had additionally left from that point. His girl presently goes to a decent kid companion of hers and loves her a ton. He is likewise a legal counselor. Luo was miserable at home and pondering what to do so his pony wouldn't go a long way from him. Then a man comes to him who is a filmmaker. He says, I have heard a ton about you and your pony, I give you a proposal to work with your pony in my movies and stunts. Luo was glad to hear this and showed tricks to the maker with his pony. Luo's little girl was eating with her companion. Luo's little girl's companion says, I like you and need to get hitched, let me know when would it be advisable for me to acquaint my family with you? Luo's little girl says, you realize that I have nobody in this world. So I will choose when I need to get hitched and when not, implies that Luo's little girl could have done without her father by any means. That is the reason she didn't enlighten anybody regarding him. Luo's better half had passed on a couple of years prior, she just came to her girl's considerations. At some point, she tells her little girl, don't divert your face from your father. On the off chance that your father comes this time, if it's not too much trouble, converse with him pleasantly. Luo's girl grasped her mom's words. At the point when she was eating in an inn, she saw her father coming from a good way. He was in odd garments and had likewise brightened his pony. Luo needed to show individuals stunts with his pony. Individuals ought to take pictures with them and offer some cash as a trade-off. Luo additionally shows stunts here, yet it doesn't help, neither does anybody come to him nor give him cash. Luo's little girl was additionally sitting and observing this, she could do without her father by any stretch of the imagination. That is the reason she goes to meet Luo and says, I have a companion who can battle your case. Luo's little girl was discussing the kid who loved her. She came to her father's structure and was taking a gander at everything intently. She becomes glad to meet Red. Presently Red was likewise paying attention to all that Luo's little girl said. Inevitably, Luo's girl's companion additionally comes, yet he gets terrified to see the weird things around him. Luo's little girl comes and says while putting her hand on his hand, "Look, don't be apprehensive." Furthermore, says, "Haven't you chosen at this point what to do?" Then the discussion begins among them, and presently the story quite a while back is shown. Lu got the pony harmed, he took care of it and relieved it. He likewise told it not to at any point sit kneeling. Presently the story returns to the present. Luo acquaints his girl's companion with his pony, Red, however he is terrified to see it. According to Luo, "Don't be apprehensive, this is a decent pony and it is simply messing around with you." In the meantime, Red tumbled down while showing stunts. The following day, Luo takes Red with him and arrives at the shooting, where his little girl comes to see his tricks. In any case, Red is frightened to see such a lot of groups and can't perform stunts as expected. Along these lines, they were eliminated from the shooting. Seeing this, Luo sits in one spot. He is miserable. Then, at that point, Red comes to him and requests that he take a cap on his head. However, Luo is furious to the point that he tosses the cap. Then Lu's girl comes to Red and says, "Look, we are not compelling you. If you have any desire to do these tricks, then do it. In any case, it is your desire." Hearing this, the pony goes to do stunts in the film's shooting. Luo's girl additionally comes to her father and expresses, "Come on father, your pony is prepared." After that, both show great tricks, all over the place. Red and Lu are applauded. Luo was glad to see this, and presently the two of them proceed with their work in the film. At some point, similar two men come to Luo again, whom we saw toward the start of the story. He again carried a notification to Luo to take the pony. According to Lu's girl, "Look, this pony and its rider aren't possessed by anybody, so you can go from here." Also, the notification that the man had brought, Red conceals it and pushes these two men. Around evening time, Luo was sitting with his little girl and eating food in the lodging. That is when Demi came to them once more. He came to request cash from Luo and was additionally talking inconsiderately. Seeing this, Red lashes out, which drives Dami and discards him. Similar to this, they have a battle here once more. In this battle, Luo's pony was likewise hitting everybody. Lu rapidly takes his girl and leaves while causing her to sit on his pony. It is shown that like this, Lu and the pony meet in the film and do stunts and bring in a ton of cash. That is when father gets injured during stunts. Seeing this, Luo's girl was currently furious. She comes to her father and says, "When will you quit doing these tricks, father? For what reason mightn't you at any point do some other work?" Hearing this, Luo offers no response. At any rate, in the early morning, Luo goes to meet his companion's family with his girl, who needed to wed Luo's girl, who was likewise a legal counselor and was likewise helping Luo with Red's situation. Luo was not feeling great sitting in that frame of mind among those individuals, and he is likewise doing abnormal things. On this, Lu's little girl says, "You can relax, my father can't coexist with large individuals. He is basic." Hearing this, Luo additionally says, "Okay, I'm like this, yet my little girl is great, don't dismiss her as a result of me." Presently after they leave, Luo's little girl chastens her father a ton and resents not acting great. Around evening time, Luo's little girl is sitting in front of the television with Red and becomes glad to see her father Luo's tricks. Luo additionally came there and he was having a good time watching his video with his little girl. That is the point at which he recalls his old minutes here. His girl says, "You're a cool father." Both had tears in their eyes. Luo recalls that once during these tricks, he had a profound head injury. Due to this injury, Luo needed to remain in a trance-like state for quite some time. Luo was telling everything to his little girl. According to him, during these 8 months when I accomplished no work, along these lines, my condition became this way. On account of my ailment, I was unable to try and meet your mom. His girl pays attention to all that and says, "Don't stress over mother, she excused you. She frequently comes into my viewpoints." Then again, we see that Demi had come to Red on the homestead and was attempting to make it cognizant by infusing it, so he can take it with him. However, at that point Red's eyes open. Every one of them attempted to get him and Red was attempting to escape from every one of them. Before Demi can get him, Luo comes there and beats them a great deal. Then he brings him down from a seat. Along these lines, Luo had driven Dami and his associates from there. Presently the following morning, A film star entertainer comes to Luo, and the two of them have tea and ramble. The entertainer says, I need to make a film with you and your pony about whom I have heard a great deal, however Luo refuses him. At any rate, he left from that point. On that very night, when his girl accompanies her attorney companion, she says, Father, we have tracked down proof for Red can now live with you. Hearing this, Luo becomes cheerful. Presently he lets his girl know that a renowned entertainer had come to me. He needs to offer me a film, however hearing this, his little girl blows up. According to her, Father, would you say you will begin this in the future? I had taboo you. She moved upset and disappeared from him. The following morning, Luo likewise arrives at the spot of the film shooting. He didn't pay attention to his little girl. At the point when he was putting on something else and shooting, he recalls his pony. At the point when he thought that he was harmed, he tumbled down while mulling over everything. A ton of things were happening to him. He was sorry to that film entertainer and left the work. Presently he proceeds to let his girl know that I left that work. Hearing this, she was cheerful. I had denied this occupation. Interestingly. Hearing this, Luo's little girl races to her father and embraces Red. Presently we are shown a court scene where Luo is battling a case for Red, however he loses this case. Red's legal counselor shows up for the other party and says if it's not too much trouble, return that pony to Luo. For your purposes, the pony is a creature utilized in a game. In any case, for Luo, it is his family still. They don't pay attention to him and disappear from here. Luo is shown miserable for Red and tells Red that now our ways will be unique. Hearing this, Red carries boxing gloves to him that he ought to rehearse with once and for all. On this, he embraces Red and cries a great deal. Presently the following day, he had given Red to his new proprietor. Luo returns with his little girl and her companion, yet Red is behind his vehicle. However, over and over, it slips and tumbles down due to the mud. He couldn't run as expected. Seeing this, Luo emerges from the vehicle and shares with Red, go to your new proprietor, presently don't return. Hearing this, unfortunately, Red returned to a miserable state. Luo likewise sits in the vehicle and cries a ton. Seeing this, the following day Luo's little girl goes to Red's new proprietor and enlightens him concerning her father. According to her, don't remove her closest companion from my father, he cherishes Red a ton. The following day, Red is shown who was with Luo on the homestead. It moved to him and was awakening him like generally while holding his hair from its mouth. At the point when Luo wakes up and sees Red before him, he goes off the deep end with bliss and embraces it. Luo's girl, her companion and Red's new proprietor were observing this, and the new proprietor says, I plan to bring Red here tomorrow regardless of whether you came to me yesterday. Since Red's condition was equivalent to Luo's, it left eating without Luo. Presently Luo and Red are displayed toward the finish of the story. Luo's girl and her companion rush to them and they embrace Red. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.